Hi everyone. Welcome. We'll wait just a few minutes for a couple more people to join. We'll get started in just a minute. All right. Well, everybody, welcome to our very first webinar. This is the What's Growing On by Georgia Grown webinar series. Um, we're going to have these about every month on a variety of hot topics that are specific to Georgia Grown members. We want to answer your questions and meet your needs from the educational aspect. Really quick, we have several people, we have quite a few participants that are joining us today. Go ahead and get familiar with the chat feature. So click on the chat button and just say hey, just to let us know that you're there. Okay, chat's disabled. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll fix that next time. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Um, Also, I just wanted to let everyone know that the recording will be shared after the conclusion of the webinar. So we will send out an email to all participants, everyone who has joined, and we will have make sure that it's available as soon as possible. And as we're going on, I realized the chat feature is disabled. I'll work on that. But we do have a Q&A box. And so as we are talking today, feel free to put in your questions and we will answer those at the end. Just want to take a moment really quick. We do have a poll. So let us know what kind, if you currently own and or operate an agritourism operation. So let us know on the poll. Right now we're at about 50-50. So half of you say yes, half of you say no. Pretty good. Awesome. So Cheryl, that just gives you an idea of what our audience is today. All right. Gonna end the poll. So today we have with us Cheryl Smith, who works for the Department of Agriculture and Georgia Grown as our agritourism manager. She has a wealth of knowledge and experience, and she's here to present to you today unlocking agritourism opportunities for your business. Thank you, Cheryl. Go ahead.
Hey there, everybody. I hope that after the presentation that you gain something that will help you in your business. So let's get started. Okay, a lot of people want to know what agritourism is. Well, officially, the state of Georgia says it's charging admission for persons to visit, view, participate in an operation of a farm or dairy or production of farm or dairy products for entertainment or educational purposes, or selling farm or dairy products to persons who visit such farm or dairy. I come from a background of tourism, so my definition of agritourism is where you take agriculture and tourism and kind of slap them together for some kind of experience. I honestly think somebody in the dairy industry was involved in getting this definition um, uh, in place. Okay, there's a lot of benefits to agritourism. For the tourist, it's a way for them to get some kind of unique or authentic experience. It's a way for them to get away from everyday stress because most agritourism locations are on farms or in the country, in rural areas. For a lot of people, it's a way to get back to their roots. It's something that they visit a farm or farms or lived in the country or rural areas when they were younger, and they want to get back and experience that. They want to participate and see how food is grown. This is really came on as a result of COVID because a lot of people weren't able to get what they wanted from the grocery stores. So a lot of farms were able to provide, and people were they really liked getting fresh food. So COVID really helped that. It offers an outdoor experience. It's a way to enjoy the local food supply and enjoy rural scenery. And it's a way to experience the local culture and heritage of an area. For the community, it's an opportunity to showcase those local products and host educational events for area schools and groups. And it also supports jobs and the economy, its economic development. And in a lot of cases, especially in Georgia, in some of the rural counties, agritourism is all they have. For the environment, it helps preserve the agricultural land. I'd much rather look at a farm than a bunch of steel buildings, and I think a lot of people would. People ask, what is agritourism? What's an agritourism operation? It can be anything from farms that offer tours, agricultural museums. In Jefferson, there's the Shields Etheridge Heritage Farm. It has all of the old outbuildings that a farm 150 years ago would have had. It's an awesome experience. There's several of those around the state. Cut and choose your own Christmas trees, corn mazes, and pumpkin patches on the farm stands and markets. You pick operations. Those are really, really popular in our state. Farm stays. When I started in tourism in Georgia back in 89, there were maybe a handful of farm stays. Now there's a dozens, and that's something that people love to experience. Petting and feeding zoos, demonstration farms, horticulture gardens, hay rides, other farm activities, horseback riding, food production. Mountain Fresh Creamery in Claremont, Georgia, just north of Hogg County. You can see not the you can go to their farm, Glowcrest Dairy, and you can see the cows being milked, and then you can go to their retail outlet and see the milk being bottled. We have orchards. We have a tremendous amount of variety of what we produce in the state of Georgia. We have vineyards and wineries, breweries, meaderies, distilleries, and cideries, and those are just a few of the things that we have. A lot of people don't know the makeup of agritourism operations. There are three different kind of models. Supplementary is where the farmer does the majority of traditional farming and a little bit of agritourism. Complementary is where it's like 50-50, 50% traditional, 50% agritourism. And then primary, it's more like the predominant is agritourism and then just a little bit of farming on the side. And then there's different kind of forms. There's direct marketing, which is like you go to a farm and they have a retail shop, and that's, you can buy products and experience the farm, but you actually are spending your money on products. Education and experiential agritourism, those are the you picks and things where you can learn something or go out and experience an activity. Recreational or event agritourism, that's more like the wedding venues that are on farms that give a really nice uh, picture opportunities for the participants. Okay. A lot of people want to know how to develop an agritourism operation. Do your research, determine what's around you and what's feasible. A lot of people will say, well, there's this U-Pick down the road. I don't want to have a U-Pick because I don't want to be in competition. The more you have in an area, the more you will get visitors. So it's not competition, it's cooperation. Um, Talk to your Chamber of Commerce, your CVB, which is a Convention and Visitors Bureau, and state agencies. Talk to your financial institutions and other funding sources. Our department doesn't have a lot of very much funding, but we get a lot of our funding through USDA. So USDA is a really big agency to look to for funding. Look at your county codes and planning offices. Get to know those people. They are your friends, not your enemies. Sometimes they can be your enemy, but then you turn them into a friend. Consult, consult, consult. You have to have insurance. You need to know about your assessor's office and what you need for that. And of course, your health department. Next steps, planning and preparation. You need to evaluate your operation. We have a great publication, an Agritourism 101 guide that will help you look at that and move forward. You have to develop a business plan, and without a plan, you don't know where you're going. And the UGA Small Business Development Center is a great group of people to talk to and to help you develop a business plan as well as a marketing plan. Well, talk about that later. Farm partnerships, local competition versus complementary farms. That's what I was talking about before. Determine your audience. You can't be everything to everybody. Determine who you want to market to, and that helps you plan what you're going to be able to offer. You prepare financial analysis and research resources, determine pricing. There are a lot of resources out there that help you put that together. Develop a marketing and advertising plan. For a lot of small businesses, agritourism operations, you're not going to have a lot of money to market, so you have to be really frugal and focused in what you're doing. Ask about legal rules, regulations, and liability. Determine risk assessment, management, and safety considerations. I have a lot of information that I can provide regarding safety considerations. Develop a plan for customer service and community relations, and then determine if education and school groups are feasible. Okay, at the department, our program has a lot to offer with regard to agritourism. We have the agritourism registry and signage program. I do an ag industry update. That's free. You don't have to, pay to get that. But if you're a Georgia Grown member, you get it anyway. Agritourism publications, you'll see a list of those are just a few of the resource materials that I have. Over the last 35 years, I've collected a lot of information about marketing and product development. And this morning, somebody asked me about how to trademark their name. And so I had that information available for them. Social media, we have two Facebook pages. One is the Georgia Agritourism Operators Facebook page. It is just for Georgia Grown members. It is a way to network with other agritourism businesses. It can help you if you have a question about where to source bottles, or what kind of jump pad is really a good option to look at. It helps you network with other folks. Then there's the Georgia Agritourism Facebook page. It is like if you're having an event, if you're doing something special, if you want to announce something that you've got new, it's a great way to make announcements and to share activities to draw people into your agritourism attraction. And of course, we have the Georgia Grown Trails. If you're not familiar with the agritourism registry, it is the first step to getting agritourism signage. We have a master list of about 116, 117 people now. You fill out an application. There's a one-time fee of $300 that goes into the agritourism fund at the department. And I put it on you to tell me that you meet all the qualifications, all the criteria. And then you get a certificate, and I revisit it every 3 years. I may be changing that to 5, but we want to make sure you're still in business because I've traveled around the state and noticed that some people have gone out of business that have agritourism signs. So we want to make sure that you're still operating and you're still doing agritourism. The next step after you get on the registry, you can apply for agritourism signage. We have a tremendous amount of agritourism sites, but only about 215 have DOT issued signage. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner, that's what the sign looks like. These are directional signs. They are not marketing signs. So they need to take someone from one place to another, to another, to another. You have to be a Georgia Grown member and maintain your membership. There's an application. Once you fill that out, I will come out and visit and make sure that you meet the criteria at that time. You can get up to 4 signs, and the fee is paid to DOT for fabrication and installation and maintenance of the signs. And it's about $250 each. It varies, and I'm not sure why it varies, but it does. And then once you get the signs installed, you are listed on the Georgia Department of Ag's agritourism signage page. The Georgia Grown Trails, these are trails that the department does not manage. I'm an advisor and I just am aware of the information and try to direct people and just help when I can. But there are 2, 4, 6 trails, and these are grassroots endeavors by the people along that route. And usually there's the latest one is Homer to Comer. That's in Northeast Georgia, and Northwest Georgia is Rossville to Rootville. It's on Trail 27. They're looking at trying to extend that, but create 3 different routes: Northwest, Central, and then Southeast. So that may be extending. It's a great way. People like to have things packaged for them, and so these trails are a great way to have them packaged so you drive along any of these routes and you can see you pick farms and any attraction that's an agritourism, and then some related attractions. Their LEM, which is a marketing organization, they worked with Trail 37 to create the logo, and Linda Mahan is very involved with this group. They created an app and they have a website. So it's a really, if you're on any of these trails and you want to participate, just contact me or Linda Mahan with LEM, and we can give you some information. But it's a great way to be a part of a larger group and a larger marketing effort. The department has the georgiagrown.com website, and on the website, there's a section for agritourism, and it lists all the agritourism attractions on the right. Those are the different categories. We're getting a new website and we may add to it. I don't know, but right now, this is what we have. The Georgia Grown magazine comes out once a year. It's unveiled in October at the Georgia National Fair. We distribute it to all 9 of the state visitor information centers. We take them to trade shows, various consumer events. We distribute them to chambers, CVBs, extension offices, Georgia Farm Bureau offices. Anybody that asks for copies, we try to give them a supply. In the back of the magazine is the Georgia Grown Guide. At one time, there used to be a brochure for agritourism and then a shopper's guide, but we combined them because a lot of agritourism attractions sell a product. So we combined them, and we have it segmented out into 5 regions, and it lists our members who are agritourism or who have a product to sell. You have to fill out a form. We send out a link in the newsletter and in my ag updates. We send it out late April, May, and several times in May. So please be on the lookout for that. If you're not in the magazine, in the guide, please look for that so we can get you in it. As I said, these are in the state visitor centers. There's a rack display, and I have been told that this is one of the most popular pieces that that the visitors pick up. Now, the Georgia Grown webinars, these are new. These are in place of um, the conference that we've had was a symposium, then it was a conference, and now it's webinars. So we're trying to meet the needs time-wise and of everybody. So we're doing the webinars, and they're going to focus on various topics. You'll get notices in the newsletter about what will be available when, and so sign up. They're free. There's no cost, and then you can get the recording afterwards. Some things to consider for an agritourism operator. This is, I work with a lot of attractions, and there's some things that y'all just need to think about doing. There's 12 must-haves, and there's the link to it. The Facebook, how to create a perfect Facebook business page. We have a lot of people who just kind of slap a Facebook page up, and they really don't utilize the benefits that it could offer. The other thing is Google business listings. If you go to Google and you do a search, and up in the right-hand corner, there's a business that pops up. If you have not claimed your business, you should, and make sure that all the information is correct. I don't know how many times I've gone and I've seen information and it is not correct. And so if you have one that's up, or if you can I think you can apply to get one. So please make sure that you claim yours and that you update it with correct information. Be consistent. Be consistent in your name, in your address, in your phone number. If you have a cell phone and a landline, or if you have two cell phones, make sure that the information that you want the public to see is consistent. I know that I've seen businesses that it's tweaked a little bit, and it's like, okay, what is it? Is it this or is it that? So make sure you're consistent with all the information that you present to the public. And then photography. Photography is something that is so very important. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. It definitely is. There are guidelines for great pictures that you can get. You can do a search on the internet, and I think I have some resources for that. But always have photography, because you're going to get somebody who's writing an article and they need a picture. And if you don't have it, then, and it needs to be high res, because you can take a high res and make you can use it a lot of ways, but you can't take a low res and make it high enough for a publication. Okay, you have a lot of people around you that you can work with. Agritourism attractions can work with restaurants. If you grow something, you can talk to a local restaurant, a chef, and say, hey, listen, I've got this, I've got rutabagas. I have a great recipe. Why don't you, incorporate my rutabagas into a dish that you serve, and, we'll promote it as locally sourced. There's a restaurant in Blairsville called the Sawmill, and I'm telling you what, it is wonderful. They have a blackboard where they write where they get all of their local ingredients. And I'm telling you what, their eggs are as fresh as can be. Their meat is fresh. And that really, people want to eat at those kind of places. So, and it markets your farm or your agritourism attraction where you grow something, as well as it helps that restaurant. Source, and also ask, the local restaurants to source, items from your farm for their farm to table, farm to fork restaurant. And if you source your menu items locally, promote the farms, as I said, that you source from if you're a restaurant or if you work with a restaurant. Lodging, educate the front desk staff to know about your local attractions. keep brochures. If you have a rack card's easy to produce, and you can take it around and you can give it to various businesses and let people know that you are there, your local DMO. Let them know that you exist. The DMO is nothing more than your chamber or CVB or local welcome center. Let them know that you're there and that you want people to come to your farm or your agritourism attraction. And work with other attractions. They're not your competition. Cross promote. Say, hey, I'll put on my website local attractions, local places to stay, local restaurants, if you will do the same on your website. And so there's a way to work with your community to help promote your agritourism attraction. Not, okay. Um, there are a lot of resources out here. Educational institutions, they have a lot of programs and services. The UGA, Agricultural and Environmental Sciences Department has a lot. If you grow something and want to make a value-added product from it, then they're a great place to talk to. The UGA extension agents are great. ABAC has some wonderful resources. The state and federal agencies, you've got Explore Georgia. If you're an agritourism attraction and you don't have your farm or your agritourism attraction listed on Explore Georgia, you're missing an opportunity, because that is definitely a free opportunity. State parks, if you have a product that you produce as an agritourism attraction, your local state park, you reach out to them and say, hey, you've got a gift shop. I would love for my product to be in your gift shop. Department of Community Affairs, the Department of Transportation, local legislators. Just, if you have an issue or a complaint or something, always reach out to them. They're there for you. Associations and organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau, great for their passport program, as well as their certified farm markets, and they are also really great with insurance. Georgia Christmas Tree Association, Fruit and Vegetable Association. If you're a U-Pig blueberry, they have blueberry information and resources for kids. There's a lot of activity sheets out there if you want to have a sheet that the kids can use, an activity sheet when they come out to the farm, to give them an added activity while they're there. There's a lot of resources out there to do that. The Georgia wine producers, if you have a product or you want to work with them, they have several things that they can do, like their conference. They have exhibitors at their conference, and you can reach out to the wineries. I know there's a lot of cross promotion between the wineries, the breweries, distilleries, and such. The Georgia Association of CVBs, and of course USDA, they have the funding. They are a great resource for funding. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, Lizzie is going to facilitate that.
Hey guys, Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing all of that. That was extremely helpful. Um, if we do have any questions, go ahead and put those in the Q&A box, and we'll be reviewing those. But in the meantime, so Cheryl, one thing you talked about was knowing your audience. So if I am an agritourism operation, like how do I, or if I'm a farm already and I want to be an agritourism operation, like how do I know what my audience is?
Well, if you're already having some people come, then it's always good to talk to who's coming. Talk to local farms in the area that are doing agritourism, and they'll be glad to share who's coming to their farms. And like I said, you have to kind of determine what you want to do, and then that's where you focus on your audience. And then as you build your agritourism attraction, you work you work to promote to that audience that you want. And then if it expands, then you look for ways to uh, add to your agritourism attraction to attract those folks. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What do you think is the most popular agritourism operation type right now?
I would, it just varies for various groups, but I would say corn mazes and pumpkin patches are really popular in the fall. Apples, apple picking, places where people can take their kids and have an outdoor experience. Also wedding venues, barns. People love to go to the barns because it's really pretty and it allows for a wide variety of wedding experiences. But I think you pick corn mazes, pumpkin patches are probably the most popular, but you'd have to ask the industry exactly what is most popular.
Yeah. We do have a question in the chat about if I grow microgreens, can I join the Wineries Association as a complementary business? Cheryl, do you have any insight into that?
Um, I would say that somebody growing microgreens probably would be better working with the Georgia Restaurant Association to find out chefs that buy locally. We have a chef's program at the department, and we have the executive chefs are ones that um, buy locally produced produce to make their dishes. So I would say probably not unless that winery or that brewery has some kind of dining restaurant services. But I would look at reaching out to chefs in the area that you could work with because they want that kind of thing. Um, I know that we've got a local pizza place in Flowery Branch that I mean, their ingredients are a lot different than what you would see because they buy a lot of them locally.
That's cool. We also have another question about a little bit about the webinar series in general. If we know and when a seminar will be on food licensing. Um, so that is one of our next topics that's up. We're thinking that it will be in March or April, is still to be determined, but look out for our next webinars. They will be announced in our Georgia Grown newsletter that we send out.
And I would also say if you're a member of Georgia Grown, which I'm hoping everybody is, if you're not a member of the Georgia Grown community, a lot of information is, we posted about various opportunities for education, marketing, and such. And some of it's last minute, but if you join that Facebook page, then you can get a lot of good information as well as with the other two that I mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. If we have any other questions about agritourism, go ahead and put those in either the chat or the Q&A while we have Cheryl, our expert, here with us.
And they can always email me if they come up with something later on, or if they need something, or if they have a question that pops up at some point later on, that they can definitely email me or call me. But I look at my email a lot more, and sometimes my phone doesn't ring.
All right. And I put in the chat just now a link to suggest our next webinar topic. So we want to hear what you want to hear in terms of what would be the most beneficial to your Georgia grown business, and how you can further that. And we are going to post the presentation in an email and then also the recording of the webinar as well. So I just want to remind everyone of that. Um, the next few things that we have going on in the world of Georgia Grown, be sure to keep an eye out on the Georgia Grown newsletter. That's where we send out a lot of our information. We most recently sent out a couple of things about the Minority Vendor Showcase and our Georgia Grown networking event. So if you have even more questions, you can talk to Georgia Grown staff in person at our networking event on March 18th. And we also have a great opportunity for members to showcase their products at the Minority Vendor Showcase, and all information about that can be also found in our Georgia Girl newsletter. We want to thank Cheryl so much for sharing her expertise with us, and thank all of you, all of our participants, for joining us today. And we hope to see you next time with What's Going On. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.